Hello and welcome back. Pleased you could make it. So, what we're going to do today, I'm here in the workshop, and today I want to look at a very much overlooked piece of equipment, essential equipment, and that is the caliper, the outside external caliper, whatever you want to call it. I'll tell you a little bit about this. So, but first, just a little announcement. I have to put my glasses on so I can see you better on that. Here we go. Oops. Well, we've had a few more subscribers. Thank you very much. It's always encouraging. We've got in the last 28 days, Ivan Arden, Luke Barnett, thanks very much for joining us, and we've got 11 more. So in actual fact, we got a total of 13 new subscribers in the last 28 days. It'd be nice if we got 130 more. And we could do, because I know there's thousands of people watch. Anyway, so if you want to subscribe, you must appreciate it. So anyway, that's that out of the way. And whoops, the caliper. This particular caliper is a Moore and Wright. You see it on there, it says Moore and Wright. It's very good. There's some cheaper ones about, but a lot of people, and they work, but I've always used Moore and Wright calipers, okay? And a lot of people make the mistake of having them too tight on the spigot there, on the swivel. So you have to come like that, and to move that, it's too tight. So what you need to do is to adjust them with the adjusting nut there, okay? And you can do that, let's see, conventional spanner, and like that, and you can do it one way or the other, okay? Don't have it too tight. And even if you've slackened it off, what can happen is that, tripping on things, it can tighten up if you've left them a while. So, simple rule is this: if you've got to come like that, too tight, so you want to be able to get your fingers like that and just pull, it opens. And if you want to close them, you close them nice and smoothly, see? No effort. Okay, because the reason is, if you're calipering a dimension such as that, it slides nicely over it. It's pretty good. So you can make it measure that dimension there. Now, I usually use what they call a Turner's rule. It's a small width one, because you can get into the internal bores easier. But for this purpose of measuring, I'll just swap this for a bigger one. I had to do that because somebody said, "Oh, what's that? What's this rule?" That's not really Turner's rule, but I know that. That's why I'm showing you the other one. But this is helps you to see more clearly what we can do with it, and so you can measure quite accurately with it. and feel for it. So how accurate can you get? Well, for a start, most rules have a graduations, 30 seconds, and a little bit on a 64th in one area. But the smaller rule, like this one, it's got 30 seconds and eighths, swivel it round. But you can get long 30 seconds there and a complete rule with 64th graduations. So it's very useful. However, what I'm saying is I'm using this rule just to show you the difference. Eat more easily. So it's not as versatile as that one. So back to the calipers. I can't overemphasise how easy it is to use once you've got the settings right, like I've just described to you. So for beginners, just beginning to turn, it really will stand you in good stead if you make sure you've got these adjusted right as I've just described. Okay, and you can really get accurate measurements with this. So on that rule you've got 64ths of an inch. Okay, a lot of Europe have got, well, Europe's been metric for a long time, UK as well. Well, not everybody in the UK is metric. I mean, I've got metric things as well, but I prefer imperial measurements. And a lot of my viewers are in the United States and they still use imperial, and it's good. So if you take a 1/64th of an inch, 0.156, that's less than 16,000th of an inch, and guess anything else, you can get pretty accurate measurements by setting it. So in that case, I use this kind of rule, small one. Okay. Now, it should be easier for the United States viewers to get these imperial measurements and things, measures. And that's a 6-inch rule. And you get a 12-inch rule in the same configuration. As a matter of fact, the typical rule like this was manufactured by Moore and Wright of Sheffield, UK, England. They were always good for that. And as with the calipers. So I've always used them, and it's the best. Always get the best you can, and it's paid dividends. So that's okay if you're doing sort of regular linear measurements and things like that. But what's best for beginners? This is best for beginners. You get used to it. You can really get more accurate measurements than the 64th. Okay, you can guess halfway from a 64th to the next 64th graduation. Yeah, and sort of guess it. But sometimes, if I were to tell you, and then you get down to like within 2 or 3 thou, and it's very sensitive. It really is. When you're getting at the sense of touch, you feel it. It's really good. Now, you can get accurate measurements without using a micrometer. So, you get down to, this is a vernier micrometer as well, you can get to a 10 to the thou on the measurements. But some jobs, if you've not got a micrometer that's big enough to do a particular job, I'm telling you the job in question, I did a lighting project recently, and on that lighting project, if you looked carefully, it involved, there's about a 2-inch diameter, or maybe 3-inch diameter, but that's just over 2 1/4. So it might have been about between 2 and 3 inch. Anyway, the thing is, at the time of manufacturing it, it's got a base, a sub base that was pressed onto the main base of this designer table lamp, and it was I designed it to be a press fit. So I'd not got any internal micrometers, which is another thing that we'll look at later, to sort of measure it, because I'd have a spigot pressed into a recessed hole which I'd machined on the lathe, and I'd not got any internal mics or anything to do that at that particular time. So I know you can say, yeah, you can use these, okay, but it wasn't available at that particular time, okay, and this vernier wouldn't have done it anyway, because, well, it would actually, because you can get the outside measurements there. Anyway, it just wasn't available. And the thing is, I'll tell you something about this later some other time, because this has got its limitations. I could tell you, very frustrating limitations. But we'll go into that another time. However, I can tell you that you can get extremely accurate results with this. Just as in another previous video, I showed you can get within half a thou turning on a lathe without using the die test indicator when it comes to setting up procedures. Well, with machining, if you're doing machining procedures with a caliper and internal caliper, to make that spigot, which I've just tried to explain to you, the spigot going into the recessed hole, okay? With this method, you can get accurate measurements to within 1/1000th of an inch. Yes, I wanted 1/1000th of an inch to make it a press fit, which I found easily done just with these two. So the expensive micrometers were not necessary to do it. Now it needs a bit of practice, lots of practice to do it, but it could be probably in some respects more difficult to try to get the machine within half a thou, because I wanted plus half a thou on the spigot to press it into the housing on the base frame of this lighting project. There's a subframe, and then on a sub base and main base. I did it with this, and I wanted 1/1000th of an inch variation to make it a press fit. Did it. That's your fact. I would have found it more difficult to do with this, and it wasn't available anyway. But it's just a question. What I'm saying to people, especially at the beginning, get into using the calipers. You get really accurate results, and it saves you buying expensive micrometers. And in most cases, in the home workshop, you just might not need that kind of tolerance with micrometers. So if you're doing it on a budget, the main thing to do, just forget the micrometers at this stage. You get good results with the external and the internal caliper. I do just have to mention this one. I prefer to use springboard. This is a springboard micrometer. Then again, it's more than right of Sheffield. I'm not getting paid for advertising them. I need a lot more subscribers to attract advertisers. I'm just saying, to attract advertisers, I need more subscribers, at least 1,000. But I'm not getting paid for this at all. But I'm just saying to you that just starting off, whether you're in the USA or wherever, and they get some good tooling in the United States too. But I always try to get that, and that's what I've used for many years. More and rights on the calipers and things like that. Having said that, people have mentioned it to me. Yeah, but they're not as good as they used to be. Well, they might not be. They might not be, because they don't make them in Sheffield anymore. But these have been around for some time, and they last for years. End of the commercial. But I just wanted to explain to you, oops, that's what we can do. Now I'm just going to see what time we've got on this. I only want to make this a short video, but we will be going. Right, I want to do something else on this, but it was essential that I got that done. Anyway, there you go. I hope it's not been too boring for more experienced people, but we're looking now at the beginners. We're just starting onto turning and machining. I'm trying to give you some sound advice. It stood me in good stead over the years, and it gets you more skillful in sort of collating and feeling for the measurements when you're doing the turning on the lathe or anything else. It gets you more experience developing the sense of touch. You get very accurate results. You won't need anything more than half a thou. And I've proved it on the dye test indicator setting on the 4-jaw chuck. We did that on using a scribing block, if you remember. So yeah, and on that lighting project that needed just a half a thou extra. If you go above that too much, it's a very tough press fit. I didn't want that. So there you go. That's all for now, folks. Thanks for joining us. Keep safe. I know people in other countries, in Europe is pretty bad. It's getting a little better in the UK at the moment, and I know you've still got a lot of problems in the USA. So try to keep safe and live to turn another day. Okay, catch you later. See you next time. Bye.